Hey guys, it's Rebecca Elijah, but you family, so you can call me Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a happy October. I hope life is treating you well. I know it's been a second. Life got a little busy. I was supposed to do a part 2 to that other video with my question and answer, but I wasn't able to, but I did find a way to contact everybody whose questions I didn't answer. So if I didn't answer your question, go ahead and reach out to me, DM me, and let's chat, let's talk, okay? Anyways, so today, I just wanted to talk to you guys for a second. So during this time, I took a little social media break. I was like, let me take my own advice and just breathe. So this social media break was very beneficial for me. One thing you guys need to do, or one thing that I found that works for me, is that when I'm taking breaks, I take breaks with intention. So what are you doing during your break to make sure that you're rested or make sure that you're coming back stronger? For me, I was doing a spiritual, emotional, and physical spring cleaning. Literally, like, when I say all aspects of my life, I was reassessing everything. I was kind of putting the mirror to my face and seeing and making... Do you guys hear this helicopter? Why don't you want me to do my video in peace? What is this? Anyways, before we were rudely interrupted, I was putting the mirror to my face in order to kind of assess what I needed to do in order to move. Because sometimes we stay in a place and we feel stagnant. And when you're feeling stagnant, it could mean that it's time to reassess what you're doing in your life, how you're doing things, and what can be changed in order for you to see movement. So in my last video, at the very end of it, I was talking about refocusing. So with refocusing, there's 3 things that you need to do, okay? You need to reassess, take inventory, and make room. So today we're gonna talk about these 3 things very briefly and just talk about what you can do and what it means in order for you to be more efficient with your time and efficient with what you're trying to get access to, okay? So let's get it. Let's go to the next slide. I can feel this being a weird video already. I'm sorry. I'm actually not. But let's continue. Okay, so the first thing, reassessing. So reassessments usually take place when something in your life needs to be changed. So you go through different aspects. It could be your relationships, it could be with work. You go through different aspects of your life and you analyze, you analyze what has taken place already and the conclusions that have happened in there. And then you reanalyze, or you think about things that you could have done differently in order for you to get a different result. So when you're taking reassessments, you have to be true with yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't give yourself more grace than you need to in this area. This is a time for you to be real with yourself. When you're doing reassessments, don't be like, this happened, but it's mostly because... No, this happened. Why did it happen? Be real with yourself, because that's the only way that this is going to work. That's the only way that you're going to get real results, okay? When you're doing reassessments, it's also very important for you to sit down and write everything down. Write down all the places that you want to see changes in your life, okay? So let me just let you on a little tidbit if you need to do this reassessment with us, okay? You might need to do some reassessments if every time you do something, you're getting the exact same result. You might need to do reassessments if you're feeling stagnant in certain areas of your life. You might need to do reassessments if you're constantly feeling overwhelmed by doing things. So if you are experiencing any of this, just do this reassessment. It's also beneficial to do a reassessment just for the sake of doing a reassessment, okay? If it's been a while and you haven't taken inventory of what you got, it's time to reassess and do some inventory. It can only do you good. It can never harm you, okay? So just try it. So the next step is inventory. When you're taking inventory, you're focusing on the things that no longer have value in your life and the things that still have value. Inventory allows you to go sort through this area of your life and reassess the things that are not feeding you anymore. People, the places, the habits. For example, let's use relationships, let's use friendships, okay? Say you're trying to perfect your friend group, okay? You need to actually go through your contact list and go down the list and see, is this person feeding me? No? Delete. If this person, why do I have this person in my phone? If you have people in your phone that are no longer aiding you, no longer adding value to your life, no longer feeding you, and you know that they aren't, why are they in your contact list? Get thee behind me. Remove them from your phone, okay? So that's an example of inventory. You're assessing areas of your life that have been weighty, if that makes sense. You're assessing areas of your life that have been jam-packed with stuff that have been holding you back, and you're removing it. You're seeing what still works, what still has the value, and you're removing the things that don't, okay? So that's what you're doing when you're taking inventory. But while you're taking inventory, okay, a little tidbit on the side, make sure that you focus on one thing at a time, okay? Because this is where it's gonna mess you up. If you are focusing on multiple things at a time, you're gonna spread yourself thin. It's called refocusing because you're trying to focus your attention to one area, okay? So the best way and the way that you can be the most beneficial in doing this reassessment and doing the inventory and making room is by focusing on solely one thing at a time. Focus on one area. So if you wanna focus on relationships first, do that. If you wanna focus on your career, do that. If you want to focus on your closet, if you want to focus on your clothes, if you want to focus on your car, if you want to focus on different things, make sure that you spend one day or you spend time doing that thing first, just that one thing, okay? What worked for me and what the insight that I got by doing this, man, God was helping me out. What helped me was by focusing on one area first, okay? So for example, I'm gonna talk about it later on, but I focused on my closet first. So as I was focusing on my closet first, every time I was done with like the other necessity things that I needed to do, my main focus for the day would just be my closet. So use that time to focus solely on one thing. So that way, when you're taking inventory, when you're done taking inventory, it's all about maintaining, okay? So if you do it well the first time, you won't have to worry about redoing it over and over again. You will just be focused on maintaining, okay? Whereas if you're spreading yourself thin, trying to do multiple things at the same time, then you're gonna have to go back and redo that thing again, okay? Like I said previously, you cannot master multiple things at the same time. You have to work on one thing first, get good at it, get better at it, and then once you're able to do that and you have a rhythm going there, then you move on to the next thing, okay? But if you're trying to do one and two at the same time, you're setting yourself up for failure. Stop that. Or knock your way out. I'm not gonna knock you out. I'm just talking reckless. Okay, so we're gonna tie in the last step, which is making room. So while you're taking inventory, you're gonna make room. Making room. This is by far the hardest part, but the most effective and the most liberating thing that I've done, and I know that it's gonna bless your body, soul, and spirit too, is making room, which means getting rid of the old, setting it free. Caw-caw. Let it fly away. It's time to let it go. Let's talk about it. So, like I said earlier, I felt the need to have a spiritual, emotional, and physical spring cleaning, but had no idea where to start. So I started writing things down, like different things that I wanted to see in my life and different things that I've been praying for. And I'm like, God, I want you to bring this in my life, or Lord, bless me with a new outfit. Do this for me, And so I wrote things out, but I didn't really start on it. And then I went to sleep. And while I was sleeping, God said, wake up. So I was like, okay. And I woke up and he's like, you need to get rid of some clothes. And if you know me, I am a very sentimental person. So this sounds so bad. I'm really exposing myself. But I have outfits and clothes all the way from when I was oh Jesus, I don't even want to expose myself like this. I have clothes and little shirts and stuff all the way from the 4th grade, 5th grade. And it's not like I wear them or nothing. It's just that I love them because they remind me of something. They remind me of the nostalgia attached to it. And the way my A got confronted and that mirror was in my face and it wasn't moving away from me, I knew that I had to make room in my closet if I wanted new clothes. And that's what I did, okay? So God really, it really occurred to me. I was like, dang, there's no way that you can get the things that you're asking for if you haven't made room for them. If you haven't made room for them, why? There's no point in asking. So shh. Don't say anything until you make the room. Make room for it and then see what happens. Trust me, okay? So that's the next point about inventory and making room. You have to get rid of the old. You have to actually make room for the new that you want to see. So for me, like the first thing I was focusing on was clothes. So I had to get rid of clothes so I can see clothes. If you're asking for new relationships and new friendships, if you haven't cut off ties with people who aren't aiding you or people who won't encourage you to go to the place that you want to go to, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not aiding yourself in getting to where you need to get to, okay? And another example of this would be like social media. Say you want to be a dancer and you ain't following no dancers on social media. You need to unfollow some of the people that you're following, some of the things that you're feeding into your system, and follow the things that you actually want to see manifest in your life, okay? There's no point in pining and sombering over things that you haven't prepared or made room for, okay? So some of y'all need to go on an unfollowing spree. Some of y'all need to get rid of some contacts. Some of y'all need to get rid of some clothes. Some of y'all need to throw away some dead weight so that you have room and space for the new, okay? Get to it. If it's not aiding you or adding to the outcome of the thing that you desire, then why do you have it? What's the point of it? There's no longer, we can't hold on to things and we can't desire things out of because we there's a memory attached to it, or it made me feel like this, okay? You can be feeling like that, yeah, you can enjoy what you're feeling, but you feeling like that, but you still stuck. Sometimes you have to get rid of those things in order for you to move out of stagnancy, okay? Make room. Sometimes it could feel like it's aiding you, but it's not actually aiding you. It's time to let that thing go. If it's a person, it's time to let that person go. If it's a habit, it's time to let that thing go. If it's a food that's keeping you from your goal weight or the body that you desire, it's time to let it go. Even if it's chocolate chip cookies fresh out of the oven with chocolate ice cream on top and peanuts, it's time to let it go. If it's not making the booty thicker or the waist slimmer, let it go. Trust me. And that's another thing. When it comes to letting things go, you really need to pay attention to not allowing your feelings to get in the way of what you need to do, okay? Because sometimes you really gotta D up and you have to take initiative. You have to think of your desired outcome. You need to think about future you. Despite how present you feels, what's keeping you from being with future you is present you, and how present you chooses to live this moment. When it comes to reassessing and when it really comes to taking inventory and making room, you're gonna get to a place where there's things that you see, and if you're doing it correctly, there will be things that come about and you're just like, dang, like, I don't like this. I don't want to get rid of this. I remember this. I remember that. But you have to get rid of it. But you also have to believe that you're strong enough to get rid of that thing. Okay? Like I said, sometimes if you feel like it, there's some things that we hold on to because we feel like it has value. We feel like it's aiding us. But it could be time for that thing to go. So you have to be very mindful and very intentional when you're taking inventory and really asking yourself those questions. Is this thing aiding me? I'm not talking about how did this thing aid me in the past, because of course there's things that come into our life, there's people that come into our life that aid us for a season. And we value that, we cherish that, we have that as a memory. But how is it working with you now? How is it aiding you now to get to that place that you need to get to? Take your feelings out of it and put your logic in there. Let me give you an example. Say we have a refrigerator and you have everything. Man, I'm hungry. I think I keep using food examples because I'm I'm still gonna use the analogy. Say you have a refrigerator. When you're looking in your refrigerator, you have everything that you need. You have all your food groups, at least you thought you needed it. And then you look at the milk. You're like, yeah, I need milk. It has calcium, it gives me strong bones. This is the milk I need. Did you check the expiration date of your milk? At one point in time, that milk had value. It did have value. But milk expires. There's certain things in your life that expire. The problem is we move about in life so quickly, day by day, we just keep moving that we forget to take the time to take inventory and assess the things that have expired and the things that are still good or things that are border. Some of y'all need to get rid of the expired milk out of your fridge. The fridge represents your life if you didn't know. You don't want to keep expired milk in your fridge because that's occupying the space where the new fresh milk could be. You know? It's not that you're getting rid of it because you'll never have milk again, but you're getting rid of it to make room for the new milk, the fresher milk, the thing that will serve you in this time. And get this, if you don't throw away that expired milk because you're like, man, I love the way this milk made me feel when I purchased it from Sam's Club, from Walmart or Albertsons or Trader Joe's, because you know we doing almond milk in this beat, but that's besides the point because almond milk doesn't really expire like that, so I'm gonna keep talking. I love the way this milk made me feel when I purchased it. If you don't throw away that expired milk, it's gonna stink up your whole entire fridge, and then you're gonna feel like your whole fridge needs to be thrown away, when in reality it's just a small area and a small thing that you needed to reassess and take inventory of and remove. You know, and that goes to show that there are areas in our life, sometimes we may feel like our whole entire lives is like messed up, like you off track, and you're like, man, like, why isn't life working out for me? When in reality, when you fix that one thing, just that one area, everything is set into motion and you're like, yeah, I'm great. What's that? You ever met those people where they cry so hard and it feels like everything is going wrong in their life, and then you listen to them and you're like, B, why don't you just call the person? And then they call the person and they're like, oh yeah, I feel better now, thank you. It's the same thing with inventory. It's the same thing with making room. Sometimes we sit in that feeling. Don't sit in that feeling. Do what you need to do to get the results that you desire. Okay? It's just a matter of steps. Make room, throw away the old, throw away what is holding you and keeping you from getting the new, okay? It's time, I promise you it is time. And another thing, don't let expired things, and by now I hope you guys know expired things are things that have lost its value. Don't let expired things corrupt your ability or your desire to thrive, okay? Don't let it do that to you, because sometimes, back to the example with the fridge, if it's smelling ripe in that fridge, you're gonna want to stay away from that whole entire fridge. You're gonna keep it shut. You're like, yeah, something smells bad in there, like I'm just not trying to deal with it today. Don't let one thing corrupt your ability and your will to thrive, okay? If you get rid of that thing from the jump, you can keep it pushing with the freshness and with the newness, okay? And the only way that you can do that is to reassess and to take inventory. Because sometimes you don't even know where the source of the smell is coming from. You need to open your fridge and see where that stank is coming from and remove it, okay? Remove it. There's so many things that you should be doing in life. There's so many things that we can be doing in life, but it's like we kept ourselves stagnant because we were too afraid to go and find the source of the stench in our life. But you don't know how many people are waiting on you to do what you need to do. You don't know what holding back or waiting and saying, nah, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it the next day. Do you know what's waiting for you? Do you know what's waiting for you beyond your laziness? Because it kind of is just laziness or your fear. Get rid of the fear. Get rid of the laziness. Up. Get rid of the things that have expired so that you can thrive. Don't let expired things corrupt your ability to thrive. Personal story. I'm going to tell you what I did. So as I was going through this process, I've been doing this process for like the last 4 weeks. And I'm still doing it because I'm loving the results that I'm seeing, okay? I started with my closet because God said,
wake daddy up and work on your closet.
I was like, okay, God, I'm good. So I went into my closet first, and as I was I was scared because there was so much to get rid of, and there's so much that I had, and I was like, man, and there was only like, how do I say this? There was so much to get rid of, and there was so much clothes that I wanted to keep. But at the same time, I knew that it was time to let those things go. So as I was sorting through stuff, first I sorted through the stuff that I wanted to give to Salvation Army, and then I was sorting through the stuff that I wanted to keep, and then I was sorting through the stuff that I'm like, maybe we could just gonna leave this as houseware, you know what I'm saying? But as I was looking through the piles, I noticed that the stuff that I wanted to keep was very hefty, and the piles for Salvation Army and houseware were non-existent. So I had to be real with myself and say, Becky, come on. You actually need to get rid of some stuff. And I noticed, like, I promise you, I kind of struggled with this for a second. But I noticed as I was throwing away some of these stuff, I realized that the clothes told a story in terms of memory, but they also tell a story now. There's some things that we hold on to that tell a story. I speak in terms of clothes. There's some clothes, your clothes tell a story. There's some clothes that you have that it's like, oh man, this is so sentimental. I loved it because it aided me and it helped me during this time. But that outfit that you're holding on to also tells another story. It could tell a story about a time where you had lack, or a time where you used to, a person that isn't you anymore. You know what I'm saying? I was like looking back at some of my clothes from my days where I used to be, let me turn up, let me have fun, let me just yike it. What's up? That's still me, but that's not me anymore. That Becky and this Becky are two different Beckys, And so I was like, what is the story that I want my clothes to say about me now? And asking myself questions that way in terms of, what do I want my future to say? What do I want the story of my life to look like? That's what dictated what clothes I got rid of, And as I did that, the piles were evenly spread. And I was able to get rid of maybe like 6-7 bags of clothes. And a lot of them were from years and years ago that I had no business holding on to, I know. But the freedom that came afterwards, like I felt like I could breathe, and I felt like I had room for more. I kid you not, as soon as I did that, tell me why your girl got a little Fashion Nova gift card out of nowhere, okay? It wasn't even like I was looking for this gift card. I didn't buy it. I didn't even know I had this. And so it was like the news started coming in as I was transitioning and letting go of the old. And it didn't take time. It was literally at the exact same time. It was like a switch. So I say all of this to say, as soon as you let go of that thing, watch how fast something new comes to you. It was the most therapeutic thing because it gave me a new understanding of clothes. It gave me a new understanding of the way I viewed myself. And it gave me a new understanding of the way I want to view myself. It gave me a new understanding of who I was and who I am now. They're not the same people. Yes, my stories from who I was aids who I am now, but I no longer want to keep things that identify me as who I used to be. And when you're trying to go to new aspects of life or get to a new height, you need to let go of those things that you were holding on to at the lower heights, because it's just going to weigh you down. It will keep you stagnant. It will keep you from going and climbing up the ladder. Get rid of it. Don't let the old speak louder than the new you're trying to manifest in your life. If the old is speaking louder, that means there's something that you need to get rid of. It might be hard in the moment, it might feel uncomfortable in the moment, but I promise you, as soon as you get rid of it, that's when you allow the new to speak on your behalf. This is beneficial in so many areas because after I did my clothes, I went to friends and my contacts. I started clearing out people in my phone that I've had for years. I have not said a lick to half of these people in my contacts. Started clearing off the things that were in my contact list or in my pictures. And then after that, I went to my bathroom, started cleaning out my bathroom. And then I went to my car. I did literally just spend time doing an emotional, spiritual, and physical spring cleaning. The challenge for you guys for this month and the rest of the year is for you guys to reassess every area of your life. Take inventory of the things in those areas and make room for the new, okay? Make room for new friendships, for new relationships, for new clothes, for a new car if that's what you want. Make room for your business and your career to thrive. Make room for your education. Make room. And a side note with that, intentionality does not mean doing the work in your own timing. Was according to our timing, the work wouldn't get done when it matters most. That's procrastination. Intentionality is the intricacy of how you do things, okay? The time is up to you. Be intentional when you're doing it. But as for the time, just get on it. Get on it. And when you get on it and when you're doing it, be intentional, be intricate. Take your time to do it well. And taking your time does not equate to being lazy. So for all of you that just say, oh, I wanted to take my time to do this right, and it's taking you 2 to 3 weeks to do one thing, then you're being lazy. You're not being intentional. Don't do that to yourself. Don't. The intricacy of doing things is very important because you need to, in order for you to effectively know what's new in terms of value, when I say new, and when I say get rid of spoiled things, you have to be careful because some things might still have value and some things aren't spoiled. Some things could be simply fermenting, okay? If it's fermented, that means you left it there for a while, but it's okay. You can make wine with it. Be careful. That's why it's important to be intricate and intentional with this process. So you don't throw away things that still have value because you think it's old, okay? Intentionality is key. Be mindful about shame and guilt. Don't allow shame and guilt to keep you from doing the things that you need to do. Because sometimes when we're looking at this process or we're going through this process, we could be like, oh man, I could have done this. I wish I did this instead. If I did this, I'd probably be here. Don't do that to yourself because it's only going to slow you down. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself because we're getting you to the new. Okay guys, so that concludes this video for today. Reassessment, inventory, and making room. Get on it and thrive. I'm excited to see how you guys do. Keep me updated and let me know if you have any questions or you need any tips. Let me know so we can let in the general masses. You know, I can make another video on it. I love you so much and have a blessed night. Bye guys.